What's up, everybody, and welcome to my review of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, I haven't played all the Final Fantasy games, but I have played the best ones, which are 6, 7, 9, 10, and 7 Remake. I also played 8 and 12, but those were kind of weak. I consider those to be the weakest ones. If you ask me which one is best, I'm going to say 6, followed by 7, and then 10. But that's enough background information on my experience with the series, and I'm sure you're already tired of looking at my face, so let's get into the review. Let's get the easy part out of the way first. The graphics and music. They fucking suck. I'm just kidding. They're absolutely incredible. Every aspect of the visuals is so good. The environments look great and are packed with detail. I love seeing these iconic locations rendered with cutting edge graphics tech. The characters look so good that I divorced my wife, broke up with my girlfriend, and told my friend with benefits I didn't need her anymore because Tifa exists. The animation in particular is insane, especially for the limit breaks and synergy attacks and the cutscenes. Man, it's like the the best quality animation you'll see in games, pretty much. It's really impressive. The music is always great in Final Fantasy games, and that is no exception here. The soundtrack is filled with more gems than a Smucker's factory. The graphics and music aspect of the game is an easy 10 out of 10. Next, let's get to the most important part of any video game, and that's the gameplay and game design. The gameplay consists of the combat, a ton of mini games, and exploration of the open world zones. The combat is largely the same as the previous game, a combination of action game elements and the active time battle system that Final Fantasy fans are familiar with. The main additions are synergy abilities and attacks, where various party members will team up to pull off some pretty awesome stuff, and a parry which you can use to nullify damage from attacks. I'm pretty sure that's new. I don't remember that being in the first one. The main objective in combat is to stagger the enemy so you can deal big damage, just like in the first one. How you stagger the enemy varies from exploiting an elemental weakness to dodging or parrying certain attacks or other more specific methods. I like that each member of your party has their role and a great variety of abilities at their disposal. And the boss fights are great, and they introduce some of the more unique ways of staggering your opponent. And again, like, they give you the most interesting strategic options when fighting the bosses. I think the combat is pretty damn good, but I have some minor criticisms. It looks great in action most of the time, but can sometimes become chaotic and hard to follow visually, especially when you're against some of the larger bosses. I mean, I want to be able to see these awesome attacks unobscured in all their glory. I like the combination of simple action game elements with the ATB system, but I think the action game elements could be improved and expanded upon. If you're gonna, put action game elements in there, make them as good as possible, even though the ATB is the main system still. And that's why there's the mode where you don't even, they fight by themselves. There's that one mode where they fight by themselves and you just do ATB commands. But if they're gonna use it, and it is kind of crucial in some fights, then they should expand on it, I think, and improve on it. Outside of combat, you're going to spend a lot of time playing a variety of mini games. Many of these are optional, but not if you're like me and want to get all the weapons and materia, so not really optional. The only ones I think are good are Queen's Blood, which is a card game, and basically the main mini game, and Chocobo Racing, which is like Mario Kart but not as good, obviously. The exploration of the open world zones is the weakest part of the game because there's really no exploration to speak of. It has the dated Ubisoft or Ubi shit, no, school of open world design. Go climb this tower, it reveals some map markers, go to map markers, fight something or scan something or interact with something in some pointless time wasting way, do it a bunch of times, repetitive. And this part of the game got old very quickly, and it's even worse because Chadley's dumbass has to say something almost every time. This is by far my biggest complaint about the game. The gameplay and game design aspect of the game is a solid 8 out of 10. It'd be even better if they, you know, cut down the bloat and the dated open world design. They could have done better on that, but it's not too egregious. Now before I get to the story and characters, I want to touch on the performance of the game real quick. I played in balanced mode and I didn't really have any performance issues that affected my experience, so that was nice. I mean, maybe only if I like push my face up against the monitor TV and get a little like fuzzy, but you know, that's because you're too close to the damn screen. Alright, lastly, let's get to the story and characters. I really have mixed feelings on this aspect of the game. First, I have to say I played the game in Japanese, and it is the way... Oh shit. First, I have to say I played the game in Japanese, and is the way I recommend anyone play it, because the voice acting is so much better and fits the characters' actions and mannerisms better. And I fucking loved the characters. Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, Barret, Yuffie, and the rest are an iconic group, and my favorite of any Final Fantasy game. Their interactions and individual stories are a highlight of the game. Yuffie is fucking hilarious. The main story, on the other hand, is getting even more convoluted and ridiculous with all this changing fates and separate timelines nonsense. And the way they handled one of the most legendary moments in gaming history, you know the one, was not done well, to say the least. It would have been better if they just did it the same way as it was in the original at this point, because the outcome didn't change at all. They didn't even change fate. What the fuck are they doing? All this talk about changing fate and shit didn't even change. Maybe the third game will make up for it, but we'll have to wait and see. The story and characters aspect of the game is carried by the characters. Characters, 10 out of 10. Story, 6 out of 10. It's going to average out to an 8 out of 10 on that. And that brings my review to an end. The final score for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a solid 8.5 out of 10. You played it? What did you think of the game? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you later.